skouspelagtig en dramaties. Dit is die enigste manier om die Drakensberg te beskryf. Meer as 1000 kilometer van asemrowende natuurskoon. Basaltkranse wat 180 miljoen jaar gelede deur vulkaniese uitbarsting gevorm is. En toring tot meer as 3000 meter hoog. Ook die tuiste van die wêreldbekende Drakensberg seenskoor. Die steil hellings van die ruwe plateaurand maak dit moeilik begaanbaar, so die omgewing is ongerep. Dit verdien die wêrelderfenisgebied status wat dit in 2000 verwerf het en sedertdien staan dit bekend as die Ukaghlamba Drakensberg Park. Deur die jare was daar al baie gerugte oor moontlike ontwikkeling in die Drakensberge. Van hotelle op die kruin, oor die Amphitheatre, tot kabelkarre, wat honderde mense vervoer na plekke, om mens gewoonlik net kan kom as jy 'n strawwe staptog aanpak. Ons sover ek kon vasstel, gaan daar geen hotelle op die kruin gebou word nie, maar 'n kabelkar. Wel, as KwaZulu Natal se lid van die uitvoerende raad vir ekonomiese ontwikkeling en toerisme sy sin kry, gaan nou heel moontlik oor die volgende paar jaar 'n kabelkar wees wat tot bo ry. Die voorgestelde ligging van die kabelkar is die asemrowende noordelike Drakensberg. Die hoofgeografiese terrein baken hier is die Amphitheatre, wat gereken word as een van die mees indrukwekkende kraanse op aarde. Dit is meer as 5 kilometer breed en ook die oorsprong van die Tugela rivier met die tweede hoogste waterval in die wêreld. 'n Retouruitstapie na die kruin met die kettingleer vat net so 5 uur. 'n Relatief kort en maklike staptog in vergelyking met ander dele van die bergreeks wat minder toeganklik is. Mens moet fiks en gereed wees vir 'n moeisame stap van 'n volle dag om by die kruin van meeste dele van die Drakensberg uit te kom. Die LER se plan is om die hoogste pieke in Suider-Afrika vir almal toeganklik te maak.
We asked a very pertinent questions. What are the new iconic tourism offerings that we can bring in KwaZulu Natal that can excite and grow the footprint of the tourism market in our province? One of those was the cable car and the cableway in the Drakensberg.
Many South Africans see the Drakensberg as this area of unspoiled beauty. They leave the stress in the city and they come here to relax and just enjoy the majesty of the mountains. Would a development like this not make it another tourist trap and scar the landscape?
I don't think so. There would be those who say it's better that few people have access and enjoy the Drakensberg exclusively to themselves. And there are those of us who would say we must open up opportunities of enjoying the natural beauty and the natural assets, which is capital asset that belongs not just to a few, but to all of us as South Africans. And the cable car and the cableways have been proven across the world. The case is there. It's not for us to actually make and argue a new case. They don't emit any emission. They don't contribute to any carbon emissions. And therefore, they're the safest way of people enjoying nature without spoiling it.
If we look at Table Mountain's cable car, it's in the city, 20 minutes from the airport. Is this not very different from that? I mean, the airport is about 2 hours away from the station, from the base station.
Do we want to have similar things? And if we want similar things, why would any tourist go to a similar thing? I think we want to have different projects. The cable car in the Drakensberg Mountain is a different product. It's a product that, number one, will have the highest summit than the one in Table Mountain. Number two, you would actually enjoy the type of things that are unique within the Drakensberg. We're not looking for the repeat of what is available.
Die beplande area vir die grondstasie is gemeenskapsgrond. Die stasie op die kruin sal gebou word op 'n klein lappie aarde wat net enkele meters van die grens van die wêrelderfenisgebied is. Hier agter my is die voorgestelde terrein waar die grondstasie opgerig gaan word. Net langs die bult waar daai boontjies is. En van hier af gaan daar 'n 7 kilometer lange kabel gespan word tot op die plateaurand. Hy is nou wel bietjie onder die wolke weggesteek, maar om presies te wees tot by Mount Amory, 3143 meter bo seespieël. So die vraag wat ons moet vra is, watter impak gaan dit op die omgewing hê en veral op die plateaurand? If this project goes ahead, could it impact on the World Heritage status of the Drakensberg?
If this goes ahead as it stands as proposed outside the World Heritage Site, no. But if that project, expand to the World Heritage Site, yes, it will have an impact in terms of the World Heritage Site status.
What is KZN Wildlife's official position with regards to this development?
KZN Wildlife has not really made a position for obvious reasons, because we are not in a position to have an informed position. This kind of project still has to be assessed. So there are studies that are going to be carried out to assess the project. And based on the outcome of those studies, we would then be in a better position to make an informed decision.
Now, someone is proposing a cable car. If that gets approved, what's going to stop someone proposing a hotel on the top of the escarpment?
Each and every proposal that is being put on the table has to be assessed based on its merits. So based on that, I think it will also have to be subjected to that process. And then if it's viable or not viable, that would be dependent on the outcome of the assessment.
Would the development not have a negative impact on the environment and specifically the escarpment?
It will not. We can show you the erosion that is actually being caused by the hikers. Even on this KwaZulu Natal part, we can show you the damage that is actually created as we speak right now by the hiking. Whereas what this would actually do, like we have done it in the Western Cape, we go to the Table Mountain. We have got flocks of people live on top of the escarpment of the Table Mountain. There has never been any ruining of the environment.
Die Drakensberg is 'n ontvlugtingsoord vir baie Suid-Afrikaners wat van die besige stadslewe wil ontsnap. Hulle kom hierheen vir die rus en die vrede wat die plateaurand bied. Ander toets vir hulle uit te vermoë op die stylpasse wat lei na van die mees skouspelagtige uitsigte in Suid-Afrika. 'n Kabelkar sal meer toeriste toegang gee tot daardie wonderlike vistas. Maar die Drakensberg is ook die tuiste van baie van ons bedreigde aasvoëls. En 'n 7 kilometer kabel wat reg deur hierdie voël se vlugroetes loop, kan dodelik wees. Sonia, how many vulture species could be impacted if this cable car development goes ahead?
We've got 2 vulture species that occur in the Drakensberg Mountains. It's the Cape vulture, which is an endemic vulture to southern Africa. So it only occurs in southern Africa. And then we've got the bearded vulture, which is a critically endangered species.
How many bearded vultures are in that area?
The entire population's about 400 birds, and they spread all the way along the escarpment, basically, and in the Maluti Mountains. And then Cape vultures, we've got a number of colonies that are also dotted along the Drakensberg escarpment, and a few colonies on the isolated peaks in Lesotho.
And how many breeding pairs of bearded vultures in that northern part of the Drakensberg?
We've probably got about 5 pairs that are within 15 or 20 kilometers of the site. And the proposed cable route is actually directly over one of the nests.
Die baardaasvoël is amptelik as bedreigd gelys, maar Sonja Kruger, Suid-Afrika se voorste kenner van hierdie spesies, sê dat hulle in werklikheid kritiek bedreigd is en dat die amptelike status binnekort so aangepas sal word. Haar navorsing dui op 'n afname van 1.4% per jaar in hul getalle en met 'n totale bevolking van slegs 400 voëls moet dit 'n groot bron van kommer wees. Meneer Mabuyakulu is vasberade dat hierdie kabelkar 'n werklikheid word. En 'n impakstudie vir die ontwikkeling daarvan is in 2013 vir KwaZulu Natal se Departement vir Ekonomiese Ontwikkeling en Toerisme voltooi. Die Durbanse maatskappy, Graham Muller en Vennote is opdrag gegee om 'n uitvoerbaarheidsstudie vir die LER te doen. There are already power lines in the area that pose a huge threat to the large bird species, the cranes, the vultures, specifically the critically endangered bearded vulture. Would a cable car not be adding to that threat?
The bearded vulture is not critically endangered, but I agree with you, and I am personally concerned that no bearded vulture suffers in any way from the building of the cableway. I cannot believe in the 21st century that we can't find innovative and successful ways of mitigating the risk. I'm sure there's a way of doing it.
What criteria were looked at when looking for a suitable site for the development?
One of the most important was accessibility, because we were talking about a cableway in a remote mountain area. It was very important that the customers could get to the product. We looked for sites that had both room for a bottom station, a base station, as well as a top station for the cableway that were both within KwaZulu Natal. Of course, perhaps most important, I could have mentioned this first, we looked for a site that gave absolutely spectacular panoramic views from the top station.
Take us through some of the specs of the cable car. What will it look like? How many people can it carry? How long is it?
It's a very conventional cableway, very similar to what we have in Cape Town. The major difference is it's going to be much longer and much higher. From the base station to the top station will be 7 kilometers. It'll take about half an hour to do the ride. In other respects, very similar to what you have in Cape Town, a capacity of between 50 and 100 people per car.
What would the visual impacts of the development be?
It will be visible from the bottom. If you have a visual impression of what the top station looks like in Cape Town, it'll be very similar. There'll be like a little pimple on the top of the mountain, and that'll be the top station. It would obviously be designed in such a way as to be as unobtrusive as possible.
And with regards to the weather conditions being notoriously unpredictable, electrical storms, hurricane winds, how can you ensure the safety of the visitors?
The cableway can operate in up to 160 kilometre per hour winds. Now, we just don't get winds of that velocity in the Drakensberg. So on the odd day that there might be a wind of greater than that magnitude or velocity, we would have to close the cableway down, and anybody stranded at the top would have to be accommodated. But that would be a very rare occasion. In fact, it probably will never happen. Electric storms are absolutely no problem. A cable car is designed as a Faraday cage. It's exactly the same as a motor car. It can be struck by lightning and you'll be completely safe.
Is the Drakensberg cable car feasible?
Yes. Yes, emphatically yes. This is a very sound project.